A volcano is an opening in the Earth's crust through which lava, volcanic ash, and gases escape. Volcanic eruptions are partly driven by pressure from dissolved gas, much as escaping gases force the cork out of a bottle of champagne. Beneath a volcano, liquid magma containing dissolved gases rises through cracks in the Earth's crust. What does the Bible say about volcanoes in end times? Revelation chapter 6 verse 15 to 17 describes the response of the people who refused to repent. Apparently, Christ has already returned because the people of the world were more scared of him than of this earthquake, for they attempted to hide from him in the rocks and caves of the mountains. Revelation chapter 6 verse 15 to 17. They cried out, "The great day of their wrath has come, and who is able to stand?" Revelation 6 verse 15 to 17. In his book Endtimes, A Brief Guide to the End of the World, bestselling author Bryan Walsh examines a variety of existential risks, global threats so great they could trigger human extinction or reduce the human population so drastically that there be no recognizable future. In addition to cataclysmic asteroid disasters and superintelligent AI robots, Walsh's book considers the very real threat which supervolcanoes impose on the human race. He also uncovers what we can do to be better prepared to survive the aftermath of a supervolcano eruption. Jesus said, "Earthquakes in diverse places is a sign of his soon return" in Matthew 24. Brent Miller Sr. at prophecywatchers.com studied all the 6.4 and higher earthquakes over the last 100 years and found they have skyrocketed just as the Bible said they would. Hebrews 12 says at the end times God is sending a shaking. The shaking is to awaken people to the fact time is running out before the 7-year tribulation starts. After the tribulation, Jesus rules the earth. 1 Peter 4 says, "But the end of all things is at hand. Therefore be ye sober, clear-minded, and self-controlled, and watch and pray. And above all things have love among yourselves." Jesus also said in Matthew 24 there would be pestilences, which we call deadly viruses. Ebola from Africa is the most deadly virus. The coronavirus from China is a deadly virus we have had for the last 3 years. The Bible also says we will see increasing volcanoes in the end days before the return of Jesus. Joel 2 and Acts 2 say, "And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood lava, and fire and pillars of smoke." A massive underwater volcano just erupted twice near the South Pacific island of Tonga, causing tsunamis as far away as Kauai and California. The volcano eruption was so big it was clearly seen from space satellites, and many say it was the biggest ever seen from space. The volcano was classified as dormant and not dangerous by government experts, so don't count on government experts and don't live on the coast or on earthquake faults. Ancient people believed God used volcanoes to make more room in hell for the large number of people that he knows will soon die. Volcanoes are proof humans have almost no control over or effect on the environment. One volcano eruption can do more damage and change the environment than all humans could do in decades. In Luke 21, one of the major signs Jesus mentions as preceding his return, aside from earthquakes, wars, and signs in the heavens, is that nations will be in anguish and perplexity at the roaring and tossing of the sea. Prophecy experts say expect months of no food, power outages, nuclear war, and a pole shift during the tribulation. Many believe the record-breaking tsunamis, hurricanes, and cyclones we have had over the past decade play a part in the fulfillment of this prophecy. However, we expect to see even greater disasters. Don't live in New York or California, as they are due for God's judgment. God does many things at the same time. God can bring judgment while at the same time fulfilling Bible prophecy. California built its nuclear plants close to the San Andreas earthquake fault. This is stupidity on top of insanity, because when the fault breaks, much of California will be uninhabitable. The only thing more stupid is to say you don't need Jesus and not ask Jesus to forgive all your faults and sins. Mark chapter 13 verse 1 to 37. And as he came out of the temple, one of his disciples said to him, "Look, teacher, what wonderful stones and what wonderful buildings." And Jesus said to him, "Do you see these great buildings? There will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down." And as he sat on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privately, "Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign when all these things are about to be accomplished?" And Jesus began to say to them, "See that no one leads you astray." The looming threat of supervolcanoes. The true horror of an existential threat is not my death. It's not your death or the death of all 7.7 billion people that exist now, says Walsh in reference to supervolcanoes. It's the nullification of the future. Although it might not occur in the next 500 or a few thousand years, Walsh says the human race should still be preparing for the next global volcanic event. Supervolcanoes have already threatened the future of humanity multiple times. The Mauna Loa volcano in Hawaii is considered the largest volcano on Earth in terms of the size of its cone. It rises about 4 kilometers above sea level. From the surface of the water, it descends 3 kilometers to the ocean floor, where its weight depresses the sea floor another 8 kilometers. It's a total of 17 kilometers tall, 10.1 miles, making it almost 2 times taller than Mount Everest. Although Mauna Loa is the tallest active volcano, it probably doesn't have the biggest potential for destruction. When considering the depth of a volcano's magma chamber, the plume and hotspot, which lies beneath the caldera of Yellowstone National Park, could be considered the largest active volcano on Earth. In addition to these, some of the world's largest active volcanoes include the Eira caldera in Japan, Pektu Mountain on the Chinese-North Korean border, the Campi Flegrei near Naples, the Long Valley caldera in California, and the La Garita caldera in Colorado. Where are active volcanoes located? There are approximately 1,500 active volcanoes around the world, too many to list here. But there are about 169 active volcanoes in the US and 141 in Alaska alone. Can we predict volcanic eruptions? Volcanoes give some warning of pending eruption, making it vital for scientists to closely monitor any volcanoes near large population centers. Warning signs include small earthquakes, swelling or bulging of the volcano's sides, and increased emission of gases from its vents. None of those signs necessarily mean an eruption is imminent, but they can help scientists evaluate the state of the volcano when magma is building. However, it's impossible to say exactly when or even if any given volcano will erupt. Volcanoes don't run on a timetable like a train. This means it's impossible for one to be overdue for eruption, no matter what news headlines say. The deadliest eruption in recorded history was the 1815 explosion of Mount Tambora in Indonesia. The blast was one of the most powerful ever documented and created a caldera, essentially a crater minus 4 miles across and more than 3,600 feet deep. A superheated plume of hot ash and gas shot 28 miles into the sky, producing numerous pyroclastic flows when it collapsed. The eruption and its immediate dangers killed around 10,000 people. But that wasn't its only impact. The volcanic ash and gas injected into the atmosphere obscured the sun and increased the reflectivity of Earth, cooling its surface and causing what's known as the year without a summer. Starvation and disease during this time killed some 82,000 more people, and the gloomy conditions are often credited as the inspiration for Gothic horror tales, such as Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So that's it. Please like, share, and comment your thoughts below if you liked this video. Remember to subscribe to see our next video. Stay safe, and we will be back soon with another